Life pulls off a clever trick. It makes a real, serious scientific goal feel like a horror movie mistake. Returning a sealed sample from Mars is genuinely transformative science. The film asks, what if that same prize is also a biological threat? The setup is grounded in the present day. A robotic sample return capsule is intercepted in Earth orbit. The crew aboard the International Space Station treats the payload like a miracle. Inside is Martian soil, and inside that soil is a dormant, single-celled organism. They revive it in a lab chamber, and kids on Earth name it Calvin. From there, the movie turns curiosity into catastrophe. The first big idea to credit is the temptation itself. Mars samples matter because Earth labs can do what spacecraft instruments cannot. In a lab on Earth, you can recheck results, apply new techniques, and measure tiny chemical and isotopic clues. You can connect organics to minerals and minerals to ancient environments. That is why modern Mars exploration puts so much weight on careful sampling and geological context. The movie understands that. It knows why a few sealed grams of Mars could change everything. Mars as a target is also a fair choice. The realistic version of the question is not, is there a monster? It is, could Mars preserve evidence of life? Ancient Mars may have had liquid water and environments that were chemically interesting. Sedimentary rocks and protected niches are exactly where you would look for preserved biosignatures. Dormancy, in principle, is not the craziest part. The leap is what the film does with viability and behavior. Because the moment Calvin wakes up, biology starts breaking its own accounting rules. The most glaring problem is simple conservation of matter. Anything that grows has to get atoms from somewhere. It also has to pay an energy bill to build new tissue. Calvin goes from microscopic to visible, then to hand-sized, then to astronaut-killing mass in days. Yet the film never gives it a credible feedstock early on. A small chamber, a bit of regolith, and a changed atmosphere do not supply kilograms of biomass. Even alien biochemistry cannot build muscle out of nothing. The movie doubles down with a second biological stretch. Calvin is described as if every cell can be muscle, brain, and eye at the same time. As a horror concept, it is brilliant. No vital organ means no obvious weak point, but the film treats that idea like unlimited capability. Calvin grips with precision, learns from resistance, navigates a complex station, and adapts almost instantly. Distributed sensing exists on Earth, but complex behavior still needs structure, development, and energy-hungry signaling. If every cell does everything, trade-offs usually bite hard. In the film, they never do. Then there is the containment premise. Life is at its most unsettling when it frames the alien as a contamination problem, not just a creature. The crew keeps returning to the right ethical bottom line. Calvin must not reach Earth. That instinct matches real planetary protection thinking, where low probability can still demand extreme caution because consequences are enormous. At the same time, the film's choice of venue is the safety nightmare. The ISS is a research platform. It is not a maximum containment facility designed for unknown extraterrestrial biology. The movie shows layers of quarantine like a sealed glove box system and escalating procedures. But the workflow still depends on humans being close, improvising, and making urgent emotional decisions. Real containment fails at interfaces. Gloves, seals, air exchange, surfaces, and rushed handling are where systems break. Once Calvin breaches the first barrier, the station becomes a shared air, shared surface trap. Microgravity is where the film earns a lot of its realism points. The station is not a hallway with a floor, it is a volume. People push off, drift, rotate, and collide. Small mistakes in momentum become big problems. Droplets and debris float. A dropped tool does not fall. It wanders. That changes everything about pursuit, rescue, and emergency work. The horror works because the physics of movement is mostly right. Even if Calvin's own motion is exaggerated, the three-dimensional vulnerability of life in orbit feels true. The film also respects how space operations actually feel, socially and procedurally. Astronauts are not lone action heroes. They are embedded in mission control, checklists, and vehicle constraints. The story treats docked craft, communications links, and module isolation as part of an interconnected system. That networked reality is one reason disasters in space cascade so fast. Small failures propagate through power, air, access, and time. Finally, the ending turns into an orbital mechanics dilemma.